So, let's talk about a story you probably never heard. A crisis that shook the world's biggest tech companies and threatened the future of AI. This isn't about a new gadget, but the invisible infrastructure powering everything from your apps to AI assistants. Even tech giants can stumble, and understanding how this stuff works matters more than ever. We're pulling back the curtain on a secret scramble, involving a critical NVIDIA chip that almost broke the AI cloud. Inside Google, Meta, and Amazon, engineers faced a nightmare. NVIDIA's top-of-the-line Blackwell chip was failing at its core tasks. This is the story of the NVIDIA Blackwell bug, a hidden crisis that reveals just how fragile our digital world can be. We'll break it down simply, using analogies anyone can understand, and show why transparency in tech matters for all of us. Let's dive into the bug that almost broke the AI cloud. What is Blackwell? It's NVIDIA's latest GPU architecture, not for gaming, but for powering the world's biggest data centers. These chips are the engines of the cloud, running AI workloads, training massive models, and processing data at mind-boggling speeds. Blackwell was hyped as a game-changer, promising leaps in performance over the previous Hopper chips. Tech giants like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft pre-ordered tens of thousands, betting billions on Blackwell's promise. In the AI race, NVIDIA's GPUs are the engines everyone wants. Hopper was the gold standard. Blackwell was supposed to be the next-level upgrade. The industry redesigned data centers and staked their futures on these chips. But when Blackwell finally arrived, things didn't go as planned. The entire industry was holding its breath. And then, the nightmare began. The first Blackwell GPUs arrived at data centers, and engineers began rigorous benchmarking. Instead of outperforming Hopper, Blackwell lagged behind, sometimes drastically. Tasks that should have been faster were suddenly slower, and power consumption spiked. Engineers double-checked everything, but the results were consistent. Something was seriously wrong. Performance would plummet at random, and overheating became a problem. It was like buying a supercar that kept stalling. Billions had been invested, and the entire AI roadmap depended on these chips working. Reports from across companies revealed the problem was everywhere, not just isolated incidents. The panic was real. This was a systemic failure. The most advanced AI hardware on the planet was failing at the basics. The stakes couldn't have been higher. The quiet panic began to set in. So, what was happening inside the chip? Imagine a high-tech kitchen with expert chefs, the Blackwell GPU. The chefs, processing cores, needed a head chef, task scheduler, to coordinate them. But the scheduler's software had a hidden flaw. Under heavy workloads, it mismanaged tasks, sending too many chefs to one job, leaving others idle, or making them take the long way for ingredients. The result? Chaos and wasted effort. The hardware was fine, but the software layer, the firmware and drivers, was broken. This led to resource contention and high latency, slowing everything down. The bug only appeared under massive, real-world workloads, which NVIDIA's tests hadn't fully replicated. In the lab, things looked fine. In the real world, disaster. It was a classic case of a product passing tests, but failing in reality. The flaw was subtle, but its impact was massive. The search for a fix was on. Once the bug was confirmed, hyperscalers knew this was beyond their control. Top-secret channels opened with NVIDIA. This was a crisis at the highest level. Special war rooms formed, bringing together the best engineers from both sides. Their mission helped NVIDIA diagnose the bug and find workarounds to keep systems running. Data centers became giant debugging labs, with secrecy paramount. Meanwhile, teams scrambled to rewrite software and run GPUs in limited modes, anything to keep services afloat. Every day the bug persisted, millions were lost, and deadlines slipped. The pressure was relentless. Engineers worked around the clock. The goal? Fix the problem before the world found out. It was a race against time and a potential financial disaster. The collaboration was unprecedented, but so was the risk. The secret scramble was on. The real fix had to come from NVIDIA. Using data from customers, their engineers finally replicated the bug in-house. After weeks of non-stop work, they found it, a tiny flaw in the scheduling algorithm. The fix, a few hundred lines of code rewritten in the firmware. NVIDIA quietly sent a patch, codenamed Project Nightingale, to hyperscalers under strict secrecy. In the dead of night, engineers rolled out the update, testing clusters one by one. Instantly, performance soared. Blackwell finally delivered on its promise. The bug was gone, and the chips ran better than ever. The crisis was over, thanks to a patch deployed in total secrecy. Across the tech world, relief was palpable. Performance charts rebounded, investments were safe, and engineers could finally rest. Emergency war rooms disbanded. The crisis was quietly closed. With the fix in place, companies raced to deploy Blackwell at scale, gaining a competitive edge. For NVIDIA, it was a close call, but their rapid response strengthened key relationships. The story of the Blackwell bug became an internal legend, never reaching the public. To outsiders, the launch looked flawless. AI services got faster, smarter. No one knew about the frantic scramble behind the scenes. The secret was kept, and the world moved on. The system worked, but only just. The lesson: even the best tech can stumble, and sometimes the biggest crises are the ones you never hear about. Why does this matter? Because technology isn't magic. It's built by people, and people make mistakes. The myth of the flawless tech giant is just that, a myth. Behind every breakthrough are teams solving messy, human problems. This story shows you don't need to be a genius to understand or participate in tech. Even the best engineers face trial and error. It's empowering to realize that tech is accessible and fallible. But it also reveals how much power a few companies hold over our digital lives. When problems are fixed in secret, we lose visibility into the systems we rely on. Transparency matters, because it lets us ask questions and hold companies accountable. Tech is human, and understanding that gives us real power. The Blackwell bug is more than tech trivia. It's a lesson in why we need honest, simple explanations of how our world works. For too long, jargon and secrecy have kept most people in the dark. Closing that gap starts with stories like this, making the complex feel human. Knowledge is power. Understanding the basics of AI and data centers makes you an informed citizen. These aren't just tech issues, they're societal ones. We all need a voice in shaping the digital world. Be curious, ask how things work, and look for clear explanations. The more we understand, the more agency we have over our future. The Blackwell bug ended well, but it's a reminder. Progress is messy, human, and full of hidden stumbles. The more we shine a light on these stories, the better off we'll be. Technology isn't magic, and knowing that is the first step toward real understanding.